It is actually a matter of principle. I will make a reference, actually. You know, as the president of Manda Ash Workers Union of South Africa, our daily challenges as workers who are extremely vulnerable in the program are too high. Now, there was a circular 14/2025-2026, stroke 2026, which was very extremely brutal from the Department of Corporate Governance, which does not give workers no single rights, as if like they are already in symmetry. And then, due to my commitment as a deputy president of Mayibuye Africa, that circular was issued in September. I saw it in November. Now, that automatically shows that there is a problem, there is a vacuum between myself and the workers, which needed an urgent correction. Now, on that note, then I decided that I am going to spend more of my time fighting the injustices that affect vulnerable workers who are CWP and who are members of Mawusa. That is the main reason why I've decided to resign. There is nothing personal there.
The African National Congress, which is supposed to be the party for liberation, is not the correct instrument to bring about total emancipation, to bring about total economic emancipation and freedom to the people of South Africa. So we wrote, actually, it appears in a founding document of a separate organization now, which was founded 12 years ago, that the ANC is going to gradually dissipate, whether there is an alternate movement or not. And then we then said that there is a need to constitute a revolutionary, a much more disciplined and clear advanced liberation force that is going to bring about true freedom and emancipation to the people of South Africa. Now, the ANC is dissipating, and it's not because of any of the existing political parties. It's dying a natural death. Now, the issue which actually a lot of the traditional leadership inputs that we got, and even from the religious institutions, was the question of whether the two other existing black political formations are correct instrument to could replace the ANC, which is going to naturally die because it has lost its relevance, it has fulfilled its historical mission. And a correct response, which I can corroborate with practical knowledge of, and intimate knowledge of what happens in both of the two other black organizations, they are not the alternatives. The EFF is not an alternative to the crisis of South Africa. If anything, it will deepen the crisis of South Africa.
Why?
Because it's directionless, one, but two, it has adopted habits and mannerisms of the African National Congress. I think we've made this observation publicly that if you check the conduct of its deployees in government, it's not dissimilar from what the ANC deployees do. And I know this because when I was in the EFF, I was responsible for government or governance. So a lot of complaints would be brought about the conduct of those that are deployed in government. And whenever we'll intervene, there will be an organizational resolution to protect wrongdoing. So that is part of the reasons why we have to disassociate from such a movement that develops and adapts mannerisms of an organization.
But you held the second most powerful position in that party.
So this is what happens.
Are you therefore saying that you were powerless to correct the wrongs that you are observing?
So this is what happens with my organizational character. Everyone else that we have led with before is that I will never impose my individual views and perspectives on the collective. In many instances, even when you know that this is not consistent with your personal beliefs and values, I've always subjected, and I will always subject myself to the collective view. And I always teach about and preach democratic centralism because I believe it holds organizations together.
So, let me ask this. Let me ask this before you conclude.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, sure.
How soon into the existence of the said party did you notice that behavior?
So the participation in government, and I purposefully pushed that the party should participate in government because I wanted to check the conduct of some of the individuals. And you must remember that the participation in government happened, I think, from the last 3 years. Before that, it was just an opposition party. But direct participation in the government happened in the participation in the city of Johannesburg after the reconstituting of the municipality and Ekurhuleni, Nelson Mandela Bay,
city of Tshwane,
and Tshwane and all of those other areas. And some of the conducts and habits of some people, it's what they were accused of when they were very young elsewhere, in terms of how they related with government, their mannerisms, the directives that they would give to those that are deployed in government. And ourselves, as a far much more organized formation and guidance to those who are deployed in government, would have weekly meetings, Sakina, and say, how many jobs have we created this week? What programs are you going to do to impact on the people this week? And then get account on that. But that got to be abolished, and a different mandate of self-enrichment was imposed on those that are deployed in government. That is when some of us began to pull back and say that this is not what we founded. This is what we can never associate with such a type of politics in terms of what got to happen. That is why.
But then you go from that.
That is why.
Then you move from that to a party of a man that you are on record as having accused of corruption, even grand corruption in this country, and you go and join that party, even though you say you left the previous party because you were opposed.
So I took one of the best decisions politically ever, that we have 2.5 million people who have shown confidence in Umkhonto Wesizwe in South Africa, and in their respect. And after having observed that Umkhonto Wesizwe, the party, was struggling to find organizational sense and resonance, largely due to inexperience on founding organizations and putting systems in place, I said that we cannot leave a constituency of 2.5 million people not represented in a qualitative and clear way. And that is when I agreed fully to go and contribute.
But where did your sentiment change about the leader of the party and his character?
Look, I think I gave this background before. So before the formation of Umkhonto Wesizwe party in October 2023, before the announcement in December 2023, on the 16th of June about the formation of Umkhonto Wesizwe party, we had a very political and ideological discussion with President Zuma to then illustrate what were the weaknesses during his occupation of the presidency positions. And then, of course, we didn't retract the criticism that we gave about his relationship with the Guptas, who said that that was wrong. Even when I was in MK, I'd say that it's an era which must never relive. And that, by the way, was happening against some members of MK saying to President Zuma that he must go and see the Guptas in India. But we still stayed firm on the principle that there are certain wrongdoings that were happening. But we thought that because there was beginning to be a movement, or beginning to be traction that is being gained by Umkhonto Wesizwe, let us consolidate an alternative to the African National Congress, because it is dissipating whether we are there or not. So the participation in Umkhonto Wesizwe was a very honest and fair attempt to form part of those who should constitute an alternative to the African National Congress, because it is going to die a natural death, and we need a liberation force that is going to represent majority of the people of South Africa. And we believe that Africa Mayibuye movement is what is going to represent the people of South Africa. And that is why we are there.
What's the target of Africa Mayibuye for the upcoming local government elections 2026?
Look, we in terms of the mandate that we have from all the people of South Africa,